Hi, I'm Stacey from STORYBOOKS, and today I'm going to be talking to you about belief systems, how they are created in childhood and how they have a massive impact on us throughout our life. So 95% of what we do is completely subconscious. Can you even believe that? That only 5% of what we do, so our actions, reactions, decisions, only 5% of them we're in control of, and the rest of the time it's like we're on autopilot and we're driven by our subconscious mind. Now, in our subconscious mind, there are belief systems and values that we acquire in our childhood, and these belief systems and values are the things that then influence us subconsciously when we get older. So, what a child hears, sees, and feels on a consistent basis, and the key word here is what consistency. So, what they consistently hear, see, and feel creates belief systems that almost form a blueprint of how they see themselves, how they see the world, and how they see their place within the world. I'll give you a quick analogy, so how belief systems are created. So if you imagine driving a car, when you first start driving a car, you have to think about everything. It's a really thought out process. I remember at 17 being like, actually saying out loud, clutch, accelerator, gears, indicate, and all these things are really conscious. However, over time and repetition and consistency, what happens is these actions get stored in our subconscious mind, and before we know it, we're driving without even having to think about it, and in some cases we can go from A to B and not even remember the journey, never mind the process of driving. And belief systems work in the same way. Whatever a child consistently experiences forms like a blueprint for how they see themselves and how they view the world, for how they react and respond to life. Now, if a child experiences on a consistent basis and that they're not good enough, so if they feel on a consistent basis that they're not good enough, there's a good chance that they will form a belief system that they're not good enough. And what will happen is that it's almost like they'll look through the world through a lens, look at the world through a lens that is influenced by this belief system that they're not good enough. I'll give you a scenario. Imagine two people walking into a room, and in this room there's a larger than life character who's dominating the room, totally commanding everyone's attention, real extrovert. One person might look at them and think, oh my gosh, they are the most inspiring person I think I've ever seen. Look at how they're commanding this audience. It's incredible. Yet another person might look at that exact same scenario and think, well, they're a bit too big for the boots, aren't they? They might feel a bit inadequate and a bit insecure, or they might actually think that that person thinks they're better than them and not like them. Two different people seeing exactly the same person and scenario, but they're viewing it through a different lens that is influenced by their own unique set of belief systems. There's a good chance that the person that felt inadequate and thought that person was too big for the boots, there's a good chance that they were influenced by a belief system that they're not good enough. Now, if you imagine a jigsaw piece, our belief systems are like little energetic jigsaw pieces. And our subconscious mind, it's one of its main and most important jobs is to keep us safe. So by safe, if we're thinking about safe in our logical, conscious mind, safe would be to make good decisions, to be surrounded by great people, to have loads of confidence. However, safe to our subconscious mind is being in alignment with our beliefs. And our subconscious mind doesn't differentiate between bad and good beliefs. It's just a belief. Whatever the belief is that we've acquired, that is our familiar ground. That is the belief we've got. And our subconscious mind does everything it can to keep us in alignment with that, because to our subconscious mind, being in alignment with our beliefs is safe, because that is our familiarity. Now, if you imagine, like I said before, you belief systems are like little energetic jigsaw pieces. What happens is that the only thing, the only people, the only scenarios, the only circumstances to fit that are things that validate our beliefs. So if we've got a belief system that we're not good enough, there is a good chance that we are going to be attracted to people or end up surrounded by people that can be critical, that can put us down, that make us feel less than. Because what happens is our subconscious mind influences who we attract, who we're attracted to based on our belief systems. Have you ever wondered why people go from the same type of relationship again and again and again? I used to, when I was younger, I used to be attracted to, the bad boy, and I used to feel really bad and think, why are they treating me like this? Why? What have I done to deserve this? And it wasn't until I got older and learnt about all these things that I realised actually I had a jigsaw piece inside myself that was not good enough. So the only people that that fit the jigsaw piece were people that made me feel not good enough. Now, I'm not saying that it's our fault that we have these people in our life. I'm not saying that at all. That is not true. What I'm saying is that them people, and if they've got bad behaviour, there is no excusing that whatsoever. If behaviour is bad, it's bad and it's not acceptable. But what I'm saying is that we are very much influenced by our belief systems. So the people that we are attracted to, the scenarios, the two people in that room looking at that larger than life person, one felt inadequate, one felt inspired. We are very much influenced by the lens that is over us, and that lens is driven by our belief systems and values. So it's absolutely crucial that in our early years that we instill positive beliefs in children so that they do look through a lens that is more positive. Now, the subconscious mind is very literal, so it's important to look at the message that's been given. Our intention is always from the right place. I have no doubt about that. Our intention is from the right place. However, the subconscious mind is very, very literal, so sometimes we can come from the right place, but when you actually look at the literal message that our actions are giving, it's actually not a great message to give. An example of this is one that I see quite regularly. So imagine a competitive family and they've got a little one and they want to create a little winner. They want them to have a winning mindset. They want them to go out and grab the world and try the best. Their intention is completely and utterly from the right place. They're wanting to mould a little winner that gets the best out of life. And what they do is they say things like, come on, we're winners. Failure's not an option. Come on, we're not going to fail. We're going to come first. If we come second, we may as well come last. Come on, we can do it. Yes, we are winners. Now, their intention, like I said, is to create a little winner. However, if we look at the literal message of this, the literal message is that failure is not an option. Failure is bad. Failure is not accepted. Now, if our subconscious mind has this message and belief system that failure is bad and something to be avoided, what is going to happen? 95% of what we do is going to be influenced by this belief system, and we're going to do everything we can to avoid failure because that is our belief. Now, the problem with this is that in order to succeed on a massive level, we're going to have to fail a lot because failure is part of success. In order to reach our brilliance, we need to step out of our comfort zone. But if we step out of our comfort zone, we risk failing. So we're not going to step out of our comfort zone and risk failing because our subconscious mind thinks that's a bad thing. So the intention of wanting to create a little winner, what actually happens is we create a belief system that is actually not conducive to someone succeeding later in life. So it's important to look at the literal messages that we're giving. The consistent things that we're saying, the little phrases and habits that we have as parents and early years practitioners. What are the literal messages of these? How we deal with bad behaviour. We all have systems, or we deal with behaviour in a certain way. What is the literal message that's given? And if we were to take that literal message and imagine it as a belief, and then translate that to adulthood or when they're a teenager, would that literal message result in them acting and behaving the way that we want them to when they're a teenager? Would that literal message result in them facing their feelings, knowing that their feelings are important and that they can talk about them? Would it result in them knowing that we're with them and that we support them no matter what? So it's looking at the literal messages of what we're giving. Now, I'm not sat here on my high horse saying that we have to be perfect. we are not perfect. I'm not perfect by any stretch. I'm nowhere near perfect. But it's what we consistently do. We all have bad days. I had a bad day last week. I've got a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I had one of those days where I was tearing my hair out. I was tearing my hair out. They were pressing every button I've got. And I just thought, oh my gosh. And I shouted, and I lost it a bit. Now, if I lost it consistently, I'd have to address that. But in that moment, what happens is when we get it wrong, we're teaching our children that we don't have that, even adults are not perfect. And it isn't, because it's not good to teach children perfection. It's not good to model perfection, because if we model perfection, it's the same thing as the failure thing. They will live their life becoming this massive perfectionist. They'll, not step out into the world because they daren't, because it's not perfect, or they will deal with failure very, very badly. So we've got not only if when we make mistakes are we modelling that actually we get it wrong, but it's a brilliant opportunity for us to model how to take responsibility and to say sorry. Just because we're grown-ups doesn't mean to say we don't say sorry. The child's behaviour might have been wrong, but how we react to it is our responsibility. So last week when I lost the plot with my little ones, I said, I went back to them and said, listen, Mummy's sorry, Mummy didn't mean to shout. However, this behaviour is not acceptable. And we talked about that. We talked about thoughts. We talked about feelings. So the key thing here is about consistency. It's about looking at the literal message and not just the intention, but the literal message. We all come from the right place, but it's about what messages are we consistently giving children, and what belief systems will they translate to in the future. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I would love you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Early Years Storybox. I also write and illustrate children's storybooks that empower children and plant positive seeds. And I create resources to go with these books, fun and engaging resources that allow children to process their thoughts and feelings and make sense of the world. Now, if you are in my membership already, you will have access to all of these things. If you're not, you can join my membership today for just $14.99 for the whole year. And not only that, when you remember, you get 20% off all of my storybooks, meaning that the little memory box collection books that I create will only be £2.70 to you. They make great birthday presents, great Easter and Christmas presents. Also, if you work in a nursery setting or an early years setting, you're a childminder working in a preschool, they make fantastic leavers and welcome gifts, because I have a set of transition books too. So I will put a link below the video. If you are not in the membership, I'll put a link to find out more. If you are in the membership, you will know all about this already and have instant access. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!